Hey, what's up guys, Riff here. So today we're going to be running through the drama that is currently surrounding Overwatch and Blizzard. This is a situation that's gotten really messy. There is a discussion. A lot of people are very upset about the design of the character Onron that is going to be introduced into the game very shortly. You can see a voice actress who worked for Blizzard came out and made some public statements and made this a very heated situation where she condemned the design of this very problematic character, and she goes off on a rant about beauty standards and characters looking Ozempic chic. She also uses this as an opportunity, and Blizzard joins in to define what a fierce woman looks like, because apparently the design being introduced into Overwatch for Onron does not fit that description. Now, it's been an interesting week or so for Overwatch. They made a big change. It's no longer Overwatch 2. They have dropped the 2 from Overwatch 2. It's now just Overwatch, which is kind of fitting, honestly. As embarrassing as it might be, it kind of makes sense. Overwatch 2 didn't really deliver anything groundbreaking, okay? It just seems like a simple patch update or something like that, and the big promise of PvE never came to Overwatch 2. So now they're overhauling Overwatch, and well, it's paying off so far. It has actually renewed a lot of interest in this game. This is probably the highest in-game player count I've seen for Overwatch in quite some time. So it is definitely working in terms of generating some renewed interest. But, like I said, there's a lot of controversy involving the game's introduction of the character Onron. People are very upset about this design. There's viral posts all over social media. Here's an example from the Overwatch subreddit, where you can see they say, "I'll forever miss the cinematic version of Onron. I've been waiting for her for so long. She looks cool, her kit looks fun, and all. But I'm kind of disappointed she looks like a 15-year-old girl and her face feels way too similar to Kiriko." So basically they're saying she looks too young, too youthful, and they're giving some examples of how they want her fixed, and of course that involves sharpening her jaw. I mean, are we really surprised by that? But there's also some art going viral. This one in particular got a lot of attention, saying, "Let the Phoenix out," with her breaking through this problematic design. Like, here's the thing about this art and what we're going to see from the voice actress. All of this hinges upon the foundation that this is a bad design. And it's also people who have worked with Blizzard who are saying this. It seems a bit cruel to do all of this publicly and just absolutely crap all over this original design and the people who created it. But of course now we get the introduction of this voice actress, Faria, who obviously voices Onron in Overwatch, and she has had a lot to say about this character, and she's really like led the charge to get this changed, because she doesn't believe that this character fulfills the sort of mission and vision of brave companies like Blizzard, and that this is insulting to certain beauty standards, and it's not appropriate that she's designed in this way, and she thinks this is a hill worth dying on. And we'll hear her actual comments in a video in just a second, but like, here's a bit of a taste of who we're dealing with here. You can see some replies full of word salad and buzzwords, where she says, "I don't know if it's representative of Chinese culture. I think they specifically are just alt-right incels." Then down here she says, "I feel the same way about anime," referring to like predatory themes that she believes exist there. And then remember the news about certain files coming out in the US, and it's like, oh, this is not exclusive to a single country. It's one that stems from patriarchy and power taken through violent means. Now, that wasn't the only thing she said. She made a video about 3 minutes long. We're going to see about a minute and a half, 2 minutes. I urge you to kind of hang in there and listen to the things she has to say, because I think it's pretty fascinating, okay? It's a lot of word salad again, but let's hear what she had to say.
I'm going to be so honest. I'm nervous about this video because I didn't want to not address the elephant in the room, but I didn't want to step on the devs' toes or speak on their behalf, because it's this tightrope in my mind of trying to honor the community and everyone's criticisms, because I agree, and also give grace to the developers because they're always trying their best in the situation they're in, right? So I wanted to make sure that was there before I celebrated anything myself. So here goes. I got to mourn Anran between the design I had hoped for her and the design we ended up with. Because I think in her comic and the cinematic Elemental Kin, there was a precedent set by it. There was a unspoken promise that said, we're going to challenge the beauty standards plaguing and ransacking media these days, right? The Ozempic chic, the contour your nose, you have no nose, the tiniest nose. And I think because of that precedence, people feel understandably let down. Overwatch is a trailblazer at challenging that, right? Of trying to break those molds, of trying to explore the bounds of what it means to be good, what it looks like to be heroic. And I think the result we got says something else. It says something that leaves a bad taste in our mouths. It's not the bold, optimistic swing that we know Overwatch to make, and it's a look that isn't congruent with her personality, right? She looks like the younger sibling. She looks more docile somehow as the fire hero. She looks more docile than the most docile peacekeeping support in the game. And I've been seeing everyone's redesigns and quietly bookmarking them, but I wanted you to hear that this concern is important. This is a hill worth dying on. It's worth speaking on, because I believe that the more we speak up about the things that truly matter to us, the more we'll see ourselves reflected in the world around us. The more we'll see our values in the world around us, right?
Wow, absolutely brave. Who needs heroes in Overwatch when you have heroes like this in real life, tackling the important issues, like fixing this very problematic design? So she starts by saying she's addressing the elephant in the room, as if this is something that's an elephant in the room. Like, I don't know how this got so big as a controversy, but she talks about not wanting to step on the devs' toes or, wanting to give grace to the development team. But then she goes out and makes a public statement like this, crapping all over their team. And she said that she was given the ability to do this from Blizzard. So it's not like she's completely popping off. I recognize that, but this feels like you're stepping on the toes of the developers here. But she says that she got to mourn this character. Please, can we not be ridiculous for 1 second? Mourning this character because its design doesn't fit the sort of standard you were expecting? That's crazy. And she says there's an unspoken promise about challenging beauty standards and this Ozempic chic type of designs. What? You mean giving people what they want? Because largely people are okay with designs like that. But in this case, people are really upset. It doesn't meet their expectations based on the previous content from the franchise. And now they're using this not just to say, oh, this doesn't match up with what I envisioned. No, we're talking about beauty standards that are an unspoken promise from companies like Blizzard, which is crazy. That is a crazy thing. And again, if you don't like the design, if you think it should look different, I think that's fair. I think it's fair. But the reason we're talking about this at all today is because you have someone like this who looks like an activist, putting pressure publicly on the company that hired her to make changes, and she's adding in things that aren't just like, oh, I don't like the design. No, it's saying you guys are violating your promise about upholding these certain types of beauty standards and not promoting Ozempic chic designs. Like, what does that even mean? And also, she says the design is not heroic. That's interesting. What does a heroic appearance look like exactly? I don't really get that one. Again, just seems kind of a bit insulting to the dev team. But she also says, the look is not congruent with the theme she envisioned, in that she's docile, which seems kind of, again, insulting to the character. Like, man, they are just dragging this design, and the people made it so much. But she says this is a hill worth dying on, and yeah, but there's just a lot a lot of values and word salad she's bringing up, and well, it worked. See, the problem is she is talking to Blizzard. They are the kings of capitulating to these sorts of demands when it's delivered in a way like this. But she was in the replies. You can see people were not happy. She also locked the replies. People saying, you have time to delete this. You're a voice actor. That's it. They tried pandering to the fats and less than 1% that needs mental illnesses everywhere. And that lost them money. The chuds won. Down here you can see Blizzard when they realized they just hired an online activist to voice their new character. And then she replies saying, it's gonna be okay, kitten. I promise. Okay. Someone else says, ew, please don't ask them to change it. Your voice is amazing and I really like her as she is. If she changes, I'll lose my favorite character and cut DPS I've been wanting since launch. And she says, I believe she can be cute while also being see you next Tuesday-y. I know if they change anything, she'll still be beautiful. Trust. Yeah, this is like TikTok vocabulary right here. This person says, please help fix her face. Helping how I can by yapping at the right time to the right people. And then this person says, I appreciate the are you sure we're related voice line after killing Wu Yang. Thank you so much for that. The first time I heard it, I laughed very hard. It's one of my favorite lines. Haha. Kudos to that individual. And then down here, you can see, thank you for addressing the issue. I'm glad we have you as Onron's voice actress. I love the models you made of her. They were so good. It was killing me that I couldn't say anything or interact, but now I can. You can see she had the full reign to say whatever she wanted. And like I said, Blizzard complied. Blizzard came out and made a statement. This game director said, okay, let's address the elephant in the room, I guess.
Hey everyone. Thank you all for the incredible reception to last week's Spotlight event. We're sorting through all the questions, comments, excitement, and feedback that you've all shared, and I wanted to take a moment to address one thing in particular. The team is currently discussing what it will take to make Onron look and feel more like the fierce older sister that we all envision her to be. We're so proud of the work that our team has put into Onron and the rest of the 5 heroes launching in Season 1, and we agree that she can be even better if we get this aspect of her right in game.
Yeah, obviously, again, Blizzard just giving people what they demand. Nothing new here. But what's interesting, he says we need to make her fierce. Again, doesn't that seem like a bit demeaning? Like, if someone has some sort of a design like that, or looks like that, or connects with a character like that through its design, they're not fierce? Like, what does that even look like? What does being fierce even look like? Like, I don't know. Like, this seems very, very harsh and cruel, right? To say because of that design, she's not fierce and also not heroic, as we heard as well. Interesting stuff, but of course, the voice actress was happy saying, I love this game. Thank you, devs, for listening. Thank you, Overwatch community, for speaking up. They're going to make her even hotter and cooler. I just know it. Interesting. At the end of the day, I mean, here's some of the changes people are putting out there. Is it that different? They just pretty much made her nose bigger, as far as I can tell. But I guess this is a hill worth dying on. At the end of the day, this whole thing is not that big of a deal, but it was made into this extremely big deal because this voice actress came out here and was saying all this stuff publicly and basically condemning the company that gave her a paycheck. The reality is, even if they wanted to say, she was given permission, what should have happened is if she spoke out like that, you fire her, you give her paycheck, you find someone else to re-record the lines. There's probably like 10 of them, and then you move on. Because now you've capitulated, you've given people like this what they want because they publicly demanded for it, and it sets a standard. And we're seeing this stuff happen all over the place across the gaming industry and social media as a whole. But anyways, that is the situation involving Overwatch. As always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.